That's a really good question. I think, at least speaking, for myself, not that I can speak for anybody else, but I think when you go into a leadership role, especially when you're dealing with people by and large who are all considerably younger, our students, and then when you've been at it as long as my wife and I have, most of our admin are considerably younger than us as well. And then it's the same deal in coaching. I think desensitizing yourself, God creates everybody different. We all have different emotional triggers. We all have different ways we react to stress. We all have different reactions to or responses to our triggers. As I said, God makes us all different, which is a beautiful thing. But I think becoming more stoic in your responses and learning to listen first and speak second, and also not having to be right all the time. It's kind of like the same deal with marriage. I was playing golf with one of my ex-assistant coaches and a kid we brought in here to coach PE at Maumee City Schools as well yesterday. He's been married now for, I believe, 5 years. And so he asked a lot of questions. Stephanie and I are coming up on our 29th wedding anniversary. A lot of good questions that young men should ask older people who have been married. Not that I'm older, but been married for quite some time. And it's like, you don't have to be right. Manage your responses, pick your battles wisely, but desensitize yourself. Become much more stoic. And stoic is probably the best way I think I can explain it, just in regards to listening first, being very blase-faire with your facial expressions and your emotional, your reactions, I guess is the best way to say it. And of course, that comes into play. That's a huge thing when you coach and when you teach. Kids see how we react to our stressors and our triggers, and I think when you handle them like a pro, that goes a long way for your credibility in the community and in the school district. As tough as it is, I think desensitizing yourself is imperative. I think it's part of being a strong male role model. I think it's a big turnoff to everybody when they see someone whine or make excuses or just bellyache by and large. So desensitize yourself. Everybody who's coached for a long period of time knows that you're going to have interactions with parents that aren't pleasant. You're going to have interactions with administrators, especially those administrators who aren't supportive of their coaches, that are going to be unpleasant. And how you handle those scenarios says a lot about you, and it also really speaks to your level of professionalism. So I know I did a lot of studying on stoicism, and everybody who knows me knows that I'm a type A personality and I have a extremely short fuse, and it doesn't take much to anger me. But I have learned over the years, and Nino Muffaletto, who was one of my mentors when I coached in Hammond, Indiana, and he told me this, and I never forgot it. He who angers you owns you. And that really resonated with me, made sense. I've kept that in my back pocket for, gosh, that was over 20 years ago now. But I've kept that in my back pocket, and I've never forgotten that. That has helped me tremendously tone things down and manage my responses much more professionally, calmly, versus going loco, which I think anybody who's going coach has probably gone loco a couple times. But I think you've got to limit those, especially when adults are around. Coaching your kids, then yeah, you're going to have a little bit more of an emotional charge, a little bit more fire. But when you're dealing with adults, I think a much more stoic approach to those meetings or those conversations, especially in person. I was not big on electronic communication. We're talking over the phone. If someone had a axe to grind with Derek Sheridan, it was going to be skull to skull. It wasn't going to be electronically or over the phone. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Again, great question. What you got next?